Something that is not used enough at trade shows is the ability to give a talk, to be a speaker, to run a breakout session, because that is where the thought leaders are. A lot of people go to those, and exhibitors need to take advantage of that. And then when they're there, what do they do? So if they get on that stage, what do they do? I have the perfect person today to tell us all about what to do there. She's been there, done that, wrote the book, and is probably the most dynamic speaker. And I tell people this all the time, most dynamic speaker I have ever experienced. And she is an experience on stage. Bridgett McGowen, welcome to Trade Show University.
Jim, it is so exciting to be here talking about probably my favorite topic in the world, presentation skills. Let's get to it.
Yes, yes, yes. And I am so grateful to have met you and now gotten to learn from you, read some of your books, and everybody. She has written how many books, different books on public speaking?
Oh, several.
Sorry, several. Yeah, so several. This was the OG, Real Talk. This is the second edition. I am so honored to have this. I have learned so much what other experts won't tell you about how to make presentations that sizzle. And everybody, listen to the end, watch to the end. I'm going to tell you how you could possibly get one of these. I'm giving away 3 copies for free to someone who's listening or watching this. So make sure you stick around to the end. But Bridget, you're called the presentation fixer. Why do people call you the presentation fixer?
Jim, I can watch you present for 3 to 5 minutes and tell you everything that's working, what's not, but most importantly, how to fix it. No long drawn out programs, no long coaching sessions. I can tell you what is resonating with your audience, even if there is no audience in front of you. You can just get on Zoom with me for a few minutes and I can fix your presentation without a doubt, without a question.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that's quite the quite the skill and quite the challenge. So what percentage of people, and I'm just gonna throw it out, what percentage of people do you think need some fixing?
Oh, Jim. Wait, what percentage of people need fixing or what
Well,
percentage of people need their
speakers
presentation?
in their presentation. I'm so sorry. Yeah, everyone, we all need fixing, to be honest. But
Okay.
which ones really need some help?
Right. So the ones, Jim, where people are not immediately leaning in saying, I've got to have this. The ones where people are not sitting there thinking, he is talking directly to me. She is answering a problem that I have. This is going to be time well spent. If people are not doing that, feeling that in the first few minutes of your presentation, then there needs to be some shifts in your delivery, in your content, in your style. But that is how you can tell if the presentation is on the right track, is if you've got them in the palm of your hand and you've got them thinking, oh, this is going to be a good breakout session. This is going to be a good 60 minutes.
Ooh, ooh. And I've been to a few like that, but most of them you just kind of sit back and at some point maybe I'm taking some notes, but a lot of times I'm looking at the clock. When's my next one? When do I need to get out of here? When's this going to end? So what are some of the most common mistakes you see at some of these breakouts at trade shows?
The biggest mistake is the speaker focuses on what they want to say instead of what the audience needs to hear.
Ooh.
Those are two different things, Jim. Great speakers, great presenters start with the audience in mind. They make it an audience centric experience. They understand the audience's challenges, their questions, their goals, and then they build a message around those needs. That's what separates okay speakers from phenomenal speakers is they make it an audience-centric experience. Oftentimes, speakers will start with a bio or they'll have someone introducing them and reading off all of these accolades and everything. Be honest, you don't remember any of that. You are sitting in the audience thinking to yourself, how can he solve a problem I have? What does he know that's going to help me with something I am challenged with right now? So making it more about the audience and far less about the speaker is what you want to do.
Oh, all right. All right. So that's a challenge for everybody is to think about your audience. Who's sitting out there? What is it they need to know? And dive in and make sure you're answering that. How do, a lot of times, like you said, people are they're talking about themselves, or they get this big long introduction no one really remembers, and that's typically how most speakers start. They give an introduction about who they are. What is so that's not the way they should be starting. Explain how should a good effective presentation start?
Give me a topic, Jim, and I'm serious. Give me a topic and I'm going to tell you how to start it, and then I'm going to tell you why it should start that way.
Okay.
Any
Well,
topic.
how about one that you're well familiar with, and that is how to be a dynamic presenter.
Perfect. This is exactly how to start the session. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the session. Thank you for coming. Have you ever just started sweating when you think about you've got to deliver a presentation? Maybe it's in front of your colleagues. Maybe it's in front of a room full of strangers. Maybe it's a webinar, and you're thinking to yourself, how can I do this? How do you make sure the nerves stay at bay? How do you make sure you deliver an unforgettable experience? How do you make sure you wow the crowd? Well, by the time we're done with the session, you're going to know exactly how to use those nerves as fuel. You're going to know exactly how to start your presentation in a way that sets up everyone for success. And finally, you're going to know exactly how to change your next presentation so you feel like the rock star that you are. My name is Bridget McGowen, and what I do is I empower professionals to be the most engaging, dynamic, incredible speakers ever. That is how you start a session, Jim. And let me tell you what I did. Now I've got to break down the anatomy of it.
Oh.
I started by talking about you.
Mhm.
I got into the mind of the audience because I said to myself, why is someone coming to this session? They're coming because they're nervous about presentations. They're sweating at the thought of getting in front of colleagues. They fear getting on a webinar trying to deliver. And so you paint a picture that lets the audience know, you know what? She gets me. She really understands where I'm coming from. And then you lean into, by the time we're done with the session, you're going to know.
Mhm.
And those three pieces right there, that phrase that pays, by the time we're done, you're going to know this, this, and this. That's what makes the audience lean in and say, ooh, at the end of the session, I'm going to have those three tools. Psh, I'm all ears. That's how you start a session, Jim. No bio, no credentials, none of that.
Oh, yes. It reminds me of that phrase, they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And
Hello.
you're caring about your audience by leaning into them and say, "Look, I know you and I've got you. I've got everything you need right here." How many of you, when you were listening to this, if you were driving, that all of a sudden you look down the speedometer, you're doing like 95 because you were just hyped. Yes, that's it. That's me. That's me. So hopefully you
Don't
slowed
send your
down.
speeding tickets. Don't send your speeding tickets in the mail to me to pay. Send them to Jim.
Oh my gosh. But yes, I was like, oh yes, I need to know this. And that's what it is. If you've walked into the right room because you read that description in the program, and that is how you should be engaged. When you leave, how many times have you left a session going, that really wasn't worth my time? And that is, but now let's flip it because now you're the speaker. You want a line of people waiting to ask you questions after you're done talking, waiting to go. I need your card. Hey, where's that book? I want to read your book. And oh my gosh, so that's what we want to know. Fantastic. So what are some things maybe people that are nervous, they are nervous, they're a little bit of anxious about doing this because they're not used to public speaking. Is there a couple of tips that you can give them to help them while they're presenting to not lose sight of everything and let the butterflies overtake them, but actually they can remain calm on stage?
You know, Jim, preparation creates confidence. Point blank. Every single presentation before you deliver it, I need you to deliver it as if your audience is there, right there in front of you. I need you to deliver that presentation a minimum of 3 times all the way through. If you don't have that much time, I need you to make sure you've nailed the first 10 minutes and nail the last 10 minutes. Go through the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes all the way through, not mentally, not silently, as if your audience is right there
Mm.
with you. I know you've got at least an hour that you can prepare. Preparation creates confidence. The goal is not to eliminate nervousness or to eliminate mistakes. The goal is to become so familiar with your message that nerves do not control your delivery. Even experienced speakers get nervous. I still get nervous, and I have been doing this since 2001. But experienced speakers simply know how to manage it, and that's because they understand preparation creates confidence.
Oh, that is so true. So, so true. And one other thing that I'm going to add on, and this is something I learned direct from you, Bridget, is go in that room ahead of time, see what is, get a feel of the room so that you're not overwhelmed, like, oh, this is a huge room when you're 2 minutes before you start. Get in there plenty of time so you get familiar with it, so you're not overwhelmed or scared by it, and test out all of your AV stuff. Make sure the microphones work, make sure everything is working, because I have personally been derailed by something that wasn't working. The PowerPoint wasn't advancing, the slides weren't advancing. You don't want to know that when your audience is, you're in the middle, you've started your presentation. You want to get that stuff fixed ahead of time, because nothing can derail a speaker like bad technology or stuff that's just not working correctly. So I thank you for helping me with that as well. But that's part of the present preparation, right? That's part of
Yes.
preparing it. I know one thing that helps me, and this is something that I when I coach my trade show clients and they're talking with people one on one, is the power of weaving a story in there, getting them to understand who you are as a company, as your mission, all that kind of stuff. How does storytelling play from the stage? Is it equally important?
100%. Stories help people see themselves in your message. Numbers and data points, they tell. Facts tell. Stories show. So when you have audiences that are connecting emotionally, they become more likely to remember and act on what they have heard. And I want to extend this from the stage into the trade show floor, into the exhibitor floor. One thing that oftentimes will happen at a booth is people forget about the stories and they talk too much about other things. Someone stops at the booth and immediately they get a 5-minute company history lesson. Oh, instead, tell a story, ask questions, create dialogue, make it about the visitor. Again, audience centric. Make it about the person who's decided to step into your booth and not so much about you.
Mhm. So good. So good. Yeah. The more you connect with them, they want it. They're gonna be leaning in. I need to know more. I need you get me. You get me. So I need to know more about what you do. I want to go back to something we talked about a little bit ago, and that's being nervous, especially those first times. And like you said, even veteran speakers, people that have been doing this forever, still can get nervous. Uh, is there something that people can do if they are nervous, they find themselves a little jittery in the middle of their presentation? Is there something they could do to kind of snap themselves out, or kind of lower the nerves a little bit? Are there any tips there?
I love this question, Jim, because I'm going to fold a number of ideas into it. So when you feel those nerves coming on, one, I need you to say to yourself, I've got this. Silently say to yourself, I've got this. That's one thing. Another thing, I need you to understand that the audience is rooting for you. They are not hoping you fail. They are out there silently cheering you on. So tell yourself, I've got this. Now, here's something I need you to do before the presentation that will set you up for success when the nerves come. And that is to orchestrate or choreograph an experience where you speak for only so long and then you have audience engagement. Here's why that's important. When the nerves creep in, if you've got some audience engagement happening, and I'll talk about what that looks like in a second, that will give you time to breathe, to reset, and to re-energize. So what I want you to do, speak for no more than about 10 to 15 minutes at a time, then give the audience 3 to 5 minutes of time to process what you shared with them or to engage with what the content was you just gave. I call it the 15-5 take and give model, and I'll talk about it in real talk, what other experts won't tell you about how to deliver presentations at Sizzle. Okay. So what you do is you deliver X amount of content, 10 to 15 minutes, and then you ask the audience a very good question, like, based on what I just shared, what's one thing you'll start to do differently? Turn and have a 1 minute conversation with your colleague next to you. While they're talking for that 1 minute, you're maybe you're pacing the room, but you're also silently telling yourself, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. And then take in the energy of the room. Look how they're talking. Look how they're leaning in. Look at how excited they are. You did that. You created that. So before the session, make sure you create time for the audience to engage. During the session, have those silent mental notes for yourself, or even take a post-it note and put it on your machine that has your favorite uplifting message. Maybe it's a scripture, maybe it's a line from a poem, maybe it's a saying from your best friend, what have you. Maybe it's a picture of a loved one. Have some little something tucked over to the side that you can glance at, and it reminds you these nerves have nothing on you. So do that. Have the silent thoughts for yourself, factor in the audience engagement piece, and then look at the audience and realize that you are responsible for all of that energy that's going on.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that. And I love the idea of putting a scripture or a line from a poem or something that's going to snap you back into where you need to be and to remind you that you got this. You're the expert in the room. They're here to see you. And like you said, they don't want you to fail. They want you to deliver what they came for. That's just outstanding. I know something that happened to me several years ago when early on, one of the first talks I was giving, and I had a coworker that was in the audience, and I thought I did really well, and the audience was giving me kudos and stuff like that. But the guy came, my coworker came, oh, that was really good. He goes, Jim, he goes, but I was so distracted because you didn't stop rocking back and forth the entire time, and I'm like. I had no idea. I'm like, I was? He goes, oh, yeah, you were just constantly moving back and forth and back. He goes, I was getting a little seasick watching you. But do you have some tips for that, for maybe some quirks that we don't even realize we're having? How can we figure that out until hopefully it's not after the fact when someone comes up and tells you this?
Right. This reminds me of my very first professional presentation. It was in 2001, San Antonio. I had a purple pantsuit on, this gold top underneath it, sporting my alma mater's colors, and I thought I was all that and a bag of sun-dried apple chips, Jim. And it wasn't until after the session that a colleague told me that I had a pen in my hand that I kept, and I remember the pen, it was a gold pen. I was very proud of that pen. And I just was fumbling with it the whole time and I didn't realize it. So, to answer your question, record yourself, both watch yourself, turn off the volume. I want you to watch yourself a couple of different ways. One, I want you to turn off the volume and just look at your facial expressions, look at your body language, and pick up on anything that you think may be distracting. And then I want you to watch it with then I want you to listen to it rather. Turn your attention away from the video, but just listen to the audio and pick up on any verbal segregators or filler words, anything that may be distracting to the audience if they were just listening to you. And then I need you to view the whole thing, both the audio and the video, but watch it in those different ways and take note of what is incredibly repetitive or is just not doing any service to your message and your delivery, and then edit those. So now, Jim, I keep all of my pens in my bag when I deliver a presentation. I'm not picking up a pen. I'm not taking any notes. I'm going to type them onto my phone.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Oh, such great tips there. That's yeah, record yourself, watch it. I like the fact that you say watch it back without listening to yourself. No volume. Because I know I listen to myself, oh, that was pretty good what I just said there, but I'm not watching what I'm supposed to be watching. And that's the fact that I'm rocking back and forth or doing whatever I'm doing. And that is something I still catch myself if I'm standing in one spot. It's like, oh, Jim, you're rocking, and I'll stop. you know, and so is something that is a constantly monitoring yourself. But I'm a trainer more than I am a speaker, but I'm in front of audiences all the time, in front of groups, and so I'm used to. I could say things and continually monitor myself, but a new person. You can monitor yourself and get completely off track. And so we want to make sure you're not doing that. Do that ahead of time by recording yourself and doing the auditing and the editing before you get up on stage. This has been outstanding, outstanding stuff. And let's wrap up here because I know we can go all day long. And I want to get your couple quick takeaways that you want people to really grasp from today's conversation. And then yeah, we'll start with that, and then we'll get how people can get in touch with you.
Yes, yes, yes. Takeaway number one is remember not to make that big mistake where you're focusing on what you want to say instead of what your audience needs to hear. Every presentation, every conversation, every booth interaction, every keynote becomes more effective when it's viewed through the lens of the audience. So that's takeaway number one, make it audience centric. And then takeaway number two is this is a big one. So if you're paying attention, I need you to turn up the volume a couple of notches. People do not remember presentations. They remember experiences. The professionals who create the greatest impact, they're not the loudest ones in the room. They're not the ones with the biggest education or greatest education or biggest titles at the job. They're the ones who move beyond simply sharing information and instead they create moments that educate, that engage, and that inspire action. So folks aren't going to remember a presentation, but they're going to remember that experience and how you make them feel good.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And that's why I had to have Bridget on because that is how I felt when I left. I'm like, this was just amazing. And I need to know her. I need to know her. And so grateful that I do. So people who are wanting to know more about it, how can I maybe get it? Well, first thing I'm going to say, if you want a copy of Real Talk, drop the words "I want the book" in the comments or show notes, or if you're in a spot where that you could just email me, Jim at tradeshowu.biz, Jim at tradeshow the letter u.biz. And tell me you heard this, you want a copy of the book, and I will randomly pick three winners for a copy of this book. So please reach out. But Bridget, if they want a copy of one of your books or want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Absolutely. Visit connectwithb.com. That is connectwithb.com. All of my social media handles are there and links and all of that good stuff. And I've got something as a thank you for tuning into the show and listening all the way to the end. And that is you can get a free copy of my new download. It's called 10 Ways to Captivate Any Audience in 10 Minutes or Less. Jim's got the
Yes.
link below. So make sure you grab that free download 10 Ways to Captivate Your Audience in 10 Minutes or Less. You will not be disappointed.
Oh my gosh. If you miss out on this, that's your fault. Please get the download, connect with Bridget. You are will be a better person because of it, and you're definitely going to be a better speaker. And as you saw today, it's not just about speaking from stages, it's about speaking from the booth, making those important connections. That's why you're at the show to make those connections. Bridget, this has been time so well spent. Thank you so much for joining, for sharing your wisdom. You're just a treasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you for this platform and for all you do. You're making trade shows around the world better. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's the goal. That's the goal, is to get better results, better sales, better profits from your trade shows. Like and subscribe, of course, and keep coming back here to Trade Show University. We will see you next time.